English with Astronomy. Episode 2. Quick reminder, folks. First, Susie reads the story, and I'll ask a few review questions and give a short recap in my own words.
My next episode is called One of the First. Try to imagine yourself as an ancient observer of the universe, with no instruments at all. By day, the motion of the sun is obvious. By night, the patterns of the starry sky appear. There is also the moon with its changing face, and rarer events, the appearance of a tailed comet, a bright fireball, and the yearly meteor showers. Who first noticed the cycles, the recurrence of celestial events, and used them to make the first calendars? Most likely, Egyptian priests did this, when, about 6,000 years ago, they saw that the pre-dawn appearance of Sirius, in the glow of dawn, matched the flooding of the Nile. Centuries passed slowly. Humanity, only just aware of its own existence, lifted its eyes to the sky and tried to explain how the world is arranged and what our place in it is. Many thinkers worked to shape views of the surrounding world. One of the first outstanding figures of ancient learning was Aristotle. He lived in ancient Greece in the 4th century before the Common Era and was the tutor of the famous commander Alexander the Great. Aristotle distinguished the perfect heavens from the changeable earth. Below, everything is made of 4 elements and tends toward its natural places, while above, ether and eternal circular motion rule. He also laid the foundations of formal logic, syllogisms, rules of inference, and the classification of concepts. In biology, Aristotle describes hundreds of animals, compared their structures, and tried to identify common features. In fact, he taught people to see living things as a system. He thought that heavy bodies naturally fall downward and light ones rise, so he rejected the ideas of inertia and the void. Later, those arguments had to be revised, but his desire to join observation with reason made ancient science the base from which the ideas of Copernicus, Galileo, and Newton grew. He was among the first to propose his own system of the world, to tell how, in his view, the universe is arranged. At the center, he placed an unmoving, spherical Earth. Aristotle offered 2 observations to show that the Earth is a sphere. First, during lunar eclipses, the Earth casts a round shadow on the face of the moon. Second, on long journeys, stars that are low above the horizon disappear below it, hidden by the Earth's bulge, while other, previously unseen stars appear on the opposite side. This would be impossible if the Earth were flat. A traveler would always see the same stars. Aristotle's system of the world is called geocentric. Around the Earth revolve crystalline spheres to which the Moon, Mercury, Venus, the Sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn are attached. On the 8th sphere, he placed all the stars. In effect, Aristotle's system of the world removed capricious gods from the structure of the cosmos and replaced them with orderly, natural causes. Aristotle's teaching proved very useful for European science in the Middle Ages. However, some mistaken conclusions made by his followers were declared unquestionable truths and held back progress for a long time. Even so, without this stage and without Aristotle, science would not have had a starting point for further progress.
So, Jimmy, what did you pick up about Aristotle?
Great story. I've got a few questions for our listeners, and then I'll do the recap.
Perfect. Let's move to the questions.
First, which celestial phenomena were mentioned in the story? Second, what daytime and nighttime patterns can an ancient observer notice without instruments? Third, Which foundations in logic and biology does the text credit to Aristotle? And finally, what two observations did Aristotle use to argue that Earth is spherical?
It's wild that 2,000 years ago, scholars were already arguing that Earth is a sphere, and yet today some people still think it's flat.
Hopefully your stories will help change a few minds. Okay, here's my recap.
Go for it.
Ancient sky watchers with no instruments tracked the sun by day, star patterns and the moon by night, and noticed rarer events like comets, fireballs, and annual meteor showers. Egyptian priests likely first tied recurring sky signs to earthly cycles, linking Sirius's pre-dawn rising to the Nile flood about 6,000 years ago. Over centuries, people sought to explain the cosmos and our place in it, and Aristotle emerged as an early giant of Greek learning and tutor to Alexander the Great. He separated a changeable earth of four elements from perfect heavenly aether and eternal circular motion, while also laying groundwork for logic and systematizing biology. Aristotle proposed a geocentric cosmos with an unmoving spherical Earth, arguing from Earth's round eclipse shadow and the way different stars appear or vanish on long journeys. He envisioned solid, transparent spheres carrying the moon, planets, and sun, with the fixed stars on an eighth sphere, replacing capricious gods with orderly natural causes. His idea shaped medieval science. Some followers turned errors into dogma that slowed progress, yet his blend of observation and reason became the platform for later breakthroughs.
Nice recap. Ready for the next story?
Absolutely. We could talk about Aristotle's philosophy all day, but the format keeps us moving to the next episode.
Onward. And the next story is about a thinker no less important to astronomy than Aristotle.